The 47-year-old Yorkshire record-breaking driver, bearded, burly George Hinchliffe, is off again on a 12,000 miles hazardous trip across 2 continents, and this time he is taking his wife with him. They are driving from their home at Bradford to Cape Town in their hotel on wheels, the first diesel-powered vehicle ever to undertake the long, danger-packed journey to the Cape. Mrs. Hinchliffe will help drive the 2,500-weight flat-fronted van, which has been converted into a 4-ton, well-appointed caravan powered by a Perkins P4 4-cylinder engine. Before leaving Bradford for London and the continent, a civic send-off has been arranged at the town hall. And as the caravan draws to a standstill, a small party of well-wishers gathers to inspect the converted vehicle. In 1952, garage owner George helped to knock 2 days off the London to Cape Town motor record by completing the trip in 21 days, 19 hours, 45 minutes. Later the same year, he beat his own record by over 8 days. On the steps of Bradford Town Hall, Mr. and Mrs. Hinchliffe are greeted by the Lord Mayor of Bradford, whilst a representative of the British Broadcasting Corporation records the ceremony. The caravan can carry enough fuel for 1,000 miles, a 20-gallon water tank, and a month's supply of food. With final farewells taken, the historic journey is about to commence. After crossing much of Europe, including the ice-coated Swiss mountain roads, the Hinchliffe route will take in Algiers, the dangerous Sahara from north to south to Stanleyville in the Belgian Congo, then skirting Africa's Mount Kilimanjaro on the way to Salisbury, Johannesburg and Kimberley, and finally to Cape Town itself. And the sequel? From Cape Town comes a message which reads, "Arrived Cape Town safely, diesel engine, vehicle and drivers in fine fettle." Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Hinchliffe. An unmistakable scene, the wide tree-lined avenue leading to the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Thousands of visitors attended the 27th Paris International Agricultural Machinery Exhibition, at which there was an impressive array of the company's products. The well-known Perkins sign was much in evidence, not only on the stand of Société Française des Moteurs F. Perkins, but also on those of many famous manufacturers. Altogether at this show was displayed a total of 90 Peterborough-made diesel engines on 20 different stands, a Perkins record for Paris. Here are diesel tractors produced by Saint-Chamond, Ferguson, and Renault, all powered by these engines. A moving exhibit such as this P6 TA motored unit always attracts much interest, and a cutaway 4-cylinder diesel engine also receives a close examination. The many visitors to the stand are always accorded a warm welcome, and here, receiving detailed attention from them, is the Farmall diesel tractor. Proof of the importance of Perkins diesel engines in the French market is a long line of P4-powered Renault tractors featured prominently on the immense Renault stand. This company, largest manufacturers in France, demonstrate a skillful sense of showmanship by mounting a diesel tractor high above the showground. Enclosure of the German-made class, crowds gather around a working combine harvester whose L4 TA 4-cylinder engine runs continuously. The small Alice Chalmers tractor, fitted with a P3 TA engine, is usually referred to as the handy model because of its farm work versatility. The Saint-Chamond crawler tractors shown here, as with other continental-built tractors, have been supplied with Perkins diesel engines as their power units for many years. Recent reports from the sugar beet fields of northeastern France, revealed at this exhibition, emphasize the success of the combination. Here, on the stand of the Belgian manufacturers Usine Léon Claes, is a combine of their manufacture. On the Dotel Montalo stand is another diesel-engined combine powered by an L4 TA unit. An order recently received by this company was for a number of combines for use in Syria. Manufactured by Babiol of Ivry is the Super HD tractor fitted with a P3 TA diesel engine. The various agricultural exhibitions held on the continent each year provide, as this Paris show certainly does, a striking example of the popularity of Perkins agricultural type diesel engines among the farmers all over Europe. Early in 1954 came the announcement that Perkins P-series diesel engines were to be built in France by the well-known company Atelier GSP for the then newly formed French company Société Française des Moteurs F. Perkins. This visit enables us to see how Perkins engines are built in France. The factory is at Courbevoie, a suburb of Paris. Methods of assembly used here have been introduced by the Peterborough Company, whose modern production techniques are among the world's finest. On this P4 assembly line, as at Peterborough, full use is made of labor-saving tools. The bare engine blocks are loaded onto stands, specially designed to give the operators maximum accessibility during the build-up of the engines. The cylinder head is lifted onto the blocks as one complete unit, having previously been assembled on the sub-assembly benches. The engine gradually takes on its finished form as it travels towards the end of the line. Every unit must satisfy the test shop inspectors prior to dispatch. Fuel consumption, oil pressure, and performance at varying speeds on load are all noted carefully before the engine reaches the finishing shop. Continuously flowing water in the specially constructed spray booths takes much of the paint mist away and protects the health of the operator. Completed French-built Perkins diesel engines are supplied to manufacturers and through them to users throughout France and French-speaking countries. From a busy French factory, we return to England to visit Her Majesty's Dockyard, Portland Harbour. The wartime exploits of X-craft or midget submarine crews stirred many hearts in all parts of the free world. Today, these tiny but formidable fighting craft play an established role in the Royal Navy's peacetime preparedness. X-51, named Stickleback, here being made ready for a routine diving exercise, carries a crew of 5, 2 lieutenants as captain and first officer, engine room artificer, engineering mechanic, and electrician's mate. The loading of this diving gear, an essential item of midget submarine equipment, is witnessed by the captain, whose instructions are carried internally by an induction pipe, which also takes air into the submarine for the engine, a Perkins P6 marine diesel. The 65 horsepower engine provides power for surface movement and also charges the batteries of the craft for underwater propulsion. Britain's first prototype midget submarine was the X3, but this was never actually adopted for operational purposes. Since then, the Perkins P6 marine diesel engine has been standardized as the power unit. All X-craft crews are recruited from conventional submarine personnel who volunteer for this exacting service. Life can be somewhat cramped inside a vessel only 54 feet long, where it is normal to have to remain in a crouching position. Any movable gear, including the ensign, is taken in as the moment approaches for the first practice dive. Communication by means of the induction pipe is dispensed with, and that instrument finally lowered as the captain joins the rest of Stickleback's crew. Operating, as here, in only 25 feet of water gives valuable training in harbor defense or attack, where restricted space and shallow water must be expected by all midget submarine crews. Nevertheless, we see a steady, smooth, almost gracefully controlled dive by X-51, whose present crew have served together continuously during the past 2 years. Now, Stickleback has turned about and is maneuvering for a second practice run at periscope depth. The order has been given to surface. It is to be assumed for purposes of the exercise that some obstruction has fouled the propeller and must be removed before the submarine can proceed. If such an incident occurred while forced to stay submerged, the whole operation would be carried out unseen. But Stickleback has surfaced to allow the camera a closer look at the diver in action. Each X-craft volunteer is fully trained in diving techniques in addition to normal crew duties. Removal of the obstruction follows a similar pattern to the cutting of anti-submarine nets and the placing of limpet charges, a familiar method of attack by midget submarines. The hazards and skill of such operations when conducted entirely underwater needs no emphasis. From the accompanying control vessel, the senior officer ex-craft, Lieutenant Commander Todd, supervises the exercise and records his impressions and timings of the various procedures involved. Meanwhile, the offending obstruction has been located and quickly removed, but not discarded. Wisely, the diver makes sure that he will not be sent searching a second time for the same length of broken hawser. A signal to proceed from the senior officer, and Stickleback makes a further routine practice dive before returning to base to rejoin sister ships Minnow, Sprat, and Shrimp of the 2nd Submarine Squadron. On completion of the exercise, Lieutenant Commander Todd and the submarine officers express their satisfaction in Stickleback's performance and every confidence in its diesel power unit. Among the many visitors to the Peterborough factory are senior staff officers of the Imperial Defence College, accompanied by 2 ministry officials. The distinguished guests are received by Mr. Frank Perkins and other executives of the company at Eastfield. First, a brief pause for a group photograph, then on to a lunch hour tour of the factory. Mr. Marville, the General Work Superintendent, here points out to Group Captain Roberts, Colonel Maynell, and Lieutenant Colonel Mogg some of the finer details of the machine shop general layout. Group Captain Lane and one of the ministry officials, Mr. Hazelgrove, on the left, are most impressed by the spaciousness and cleanliness of the factory, planned to produce maximum efficiency and output under the most favorable working conditions. The senior staff officers inspect the finishing shop, where the engines are spray painted after having been passed by the test shop inspectors. On the main assembly line, the company's chief experimental officer, Mr. Vollamy, and Dr. Adams, another ministry official, follow the build-up of engines from the bare block stage to the finished unit. To facilitate easy loading onto vehicles and to conserve floor space, the completed engines are stored in tiered racks. Forklift trucks dispense with loading ramps and, of course, economize in manpower. An informative visit, symbolic of the friendly cooperation between the company and the armed services at home and overseas, in which Perkins diesel engines have been used in quantity for many years in war and peace. Graced by glorious July sunshine, the company's 4th Works at Home, organized by the employees themselves, produced the happy atmosphere of all the fun of the fair. More than 13,000 visitors, employees, their families and friends made a cheerful invasion of the Eastfield factory grounds. A large crowd gathered before the rostrum to hear the opening speech by Mr. C.R. Waterston, Works Convener and Chairman of the Organizing Committee. Mr. Waterston spoke of the efforts of his committee and outlined the importance of the Works at Homes in helping to create a better understanding between management and employee. His speech concluded with the introduction of the Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Frank Perkins, who officially opened the At Home. Mr. Perkins expressed the hope that the Works at Home would achieve even greater success than those previously held. Other speakers included the Mayor, Lady Benstead, here seen on the left, and the Member of Parliament for Peterborough, Mr. Harmer Nichols. Finally, Mr. Perkins extended a warm invitation to everyone to, as he put it, really enjoy all the afternoon had to offer. But first of all, a brief delay while bouquets were presented to distinguished ladies on the rostrum. Any evidence of girlish shyness was promptly forgotten in the fun and games immediately following. Each Works at Home is arranged to create a memorable occasion for the children, and they required no encouragement to make the most of it. Ably steered by one of the many hundreds of willing volunteers who controlled the numerous mechanical amusements, this Continental Express was enormously popular and continued throughout the day to carry its full quota of enthusiastic passengers. For those with slightly more sedate tastes in travel, a miniature steam train proved another star attraction for children of all ages, determined to keep everything on wheels moving. So too the traditional favorites, the roundabouts and swings, and unlimited supplies of youthful energy. The ornamental pond provided a restful contrast for many interested spectators. But joining in with the wildest abandon or just walking and watching proved to be an equally thirsty experience. And who could resist ice cream when everybody else seemed to be enjoying it? After the briefest pause for welcome refreshments, it was back once again to the serious business of having lots of fun. What does happen to a mixture of fizzy lemonade and vanilla ice at this speed? Pass to you, Doctor. The Works at Home, more than just a happy hunting ground for children, is in fact one big family gathering, enabling everyone to see for themselves something of the activities outside their own department. The modern Eastfield factory becomes a focal point for all those eager to see the equipment and machinery used in the production of diesel engines. The finishing shop exhibits various types of engines and illustrates the many countries to which eventually they will be sent. Also open to visitors is the company's Queen Street factory, where the well-known Perpetuity Rebuild scheme is in operation. Here, several sectioned exhibition units attract the interest of the visitors. Along the rebuild line, engines are left in various stages of completion for visitors to examine component parts otherwise not normally seen. In the spares department buildings, the packing area includes numerous crates ready for shipment overseas. Show engines, exhibition equipment, literature, and many other items have also to be prepared for both short and long journeys. Strict time schedules must be observed, as over 300 tons of spare parts alone are packed and dispatched from here each month. For the scientifically minded, the experimental department's laboratories provide a wealth of opportunity to view some of the latest equipment used in the department's constant endeavor to improve the product and to explore new ideas and projects. Laboratory assistants act as guides and give demonstrations throughout the day. For some young visitors, it is the stinks room at school all over again. At Peters Court, apart from new offices, the commercial division and reception rooms, there is the company's School of Instruction. The classrooms are equipped with demonstration machinery of all types. Permanent instructors spare no pains to give individual attention as well as surmounting language difficulties. To the instruction school each year come approximately 4,000 fitters, mechanics, salesmen, and even managing directors from all parts of the world. As we return to Eastfield, it appears that the World and his wife have all assembled for afternoon tea. The new factory extension, soon to be completed for further production of high-quality diesels, provides a convenient location for large-scale catering. Distribution of pre-packed meals and cups of tea to over 13,000 people is most efficiently carried out by the company's catering controller and his staff. With tea tucked away, there is still time for these budding and boisterous firemen to indulge in a final fling. Various examples of vehicles fitted with Perkins engines stand up to unorthodox handling, and in this respect, the young ladies present are not to be outdone. A great occasion for the children. Indeed, everyone had a wonderful time. No self-respecting elephant, not even a mechanical one, and certainly not the thousands of visitors, were likely to forget a day such as this. Everyone was very appreciative of the work and cooperation of the directors of the company and the organizers and volunteer helpers for so memorable a day. May the next one be as successful and equally sunny as Works at Home 1955.